We cannot discuss the opening round of the inaugural Drivers' Cup without spending a few minutes with America's captain, driver Jason Bartlett. We'll talk about the competition specifically in just a bit, but let's kind of go through the first handful of drives you have this coming Sunday. The Open Handicap goes as our first race, and we talked a bit off camera. Your friend and mine, Craig Shana, was you gave her the perfect trip. He was all dressed up last week, but could not close the sale.
No, the horse that went is a good horse. Been racing really good here, so can't be disappointed by getting beat by that horse. That's for sure. But I raced really well. I mean, we went pretty fast fractions there, 28.56. So we didn't really back it down too much. So in his track record time, so I was pretty pleased with his effort. And with a 10-hole this week, it's a little bit more traffic trouble, I think, with the horses to beat on the gate with gate speed. So I think this week's going to be a little bit more tougher, but that's why they race them. Yeah,
you kind of led me into my next question. Not only do you have the horses to beat on the gate, and you're in the back of the bus at least to start, but they can all get out of the gate. So obviously, I would think your plan one is kind of not to give away that much of a head start if possible.
Yeah, try not to get too far back. If you get too far back, you ain't beating them horses. So try to get up as close as we can, and then take the race how it unfolds.
All right, race 2 is our first Drivers' Cup race of the afternoon. Hasty Prophet, if nothing else, gets a bit better post this evening for this afternoon, or Sunday afternoon, for Rich Johnson and yourself. Really had no chance 8-hole to 10-horse field last week. 2-hole obviously should get him into the action much sooner.
Yeah, it looks like a decent spot here. Never really driven this horse, just raced against him enough. I know the other horses in the race, so I guess that's an advantage, for being here every week and racing against these horses. So, race good. Look like 2 starts ago with George coming first over, win a big mile there. So I'd expect, he looks good on paper. That's all I can say. Yeah.
It does seem to be very competitively matched. Non-one is a 12. Non-one is 25 in the third race. Monroe County is a horse that you certainly know very well. He's been one of those that when he's very good, he's certainly more than good enough here. And the first thing you notice about him, he gets a reprieve out of the opens.
Yeah, gets dropped down, but unfortunately some other ones did too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You have this really is a second-level open, the likes of Red Hot Herbie and Not Afraid. So this is a tough spot.
Yeah, you got one underneath us, All Star. I went with her 3 weeks ago, 55, by open lengths in a mile. Nice horse. It's dropped down, but I wouldn't say it's much of a drop.
No, not in this class.
But it looks like there's enough early speed, enough early action. We're going to take that one by see how the race unfolds.
All right, fourth race, the second of 2 Drivers' Cup events. Third time Lasix for our Choo Choo Charlie. This one for Commodore Cielo.
Don't know much about this horse at all. Raced good last week. I followed it with movement. I beat him in the lane. They say he's going to be a little bit better this week, so we'll see.
Okay. Let me ask you the same question I asked a couple of your cohorts. On these Sundays, the variables are certainly enough. You have 10 instead of 8. You have a mile and a quarter instead of a mile. But now you have the other variable of, instead of having 9 gentlemen that you know every week, you have 4 you know and 5 that you know nothing about, kind of wild cards. That kind of affect the way you look at each race?
It doesn't for me. I know they have a totally different way of driving over there, but for me, it's what you're racing against and what horse you're driving, and knowing the competition of the horses, not so much the drivers, just knowing the characteristics, good and bad, about each horse in the race, and so I think the U.S. guys have an advantage there.
Listen, between you and me, the lampposts, nobody here should listen to this. The other 2 gentlemen are looking for kind of a contested convention. They want somebody else to be captain. So if there's a mutiny, are you going down without a fight?
It's whatever my peers want, I guess. So
this man's nothing's not diplomatic. Best of luck Sunday, sir.
Thank you.
We're coming back.